Hello, everybody. It's very good to see everybody today. How's everybody doing? Things have been very crazy lately. I can't even fathom how crazy things have been lately. Oh my god. I absolutely cannot believe it. There's a lot going on, guys. As you all know, there's a lot going on overseas as well as in the US. Gas prices are through the roof. Prices for everything has been through the roof. And you could thank our current president for being such a jerk. You could thank our current president for being such a jerk. So, thank him for it. Because I'm telling you right now, it's because of him that gas prices are so high. It's because of him that prices for food is so high. Everything has skyrocketed. Even the money that I take in has been reduced. So I make less money now. And the fact of the matter is, I'm disabled. I can't work to begin with. So I don't know what I'm going to do if it gets any lower. As it is, I make crap. So I'd like to go back to work, but I'm not allowed. I can't. So, oh boy. This is a quite frustrating situation. Indeed. This is a very frustrating situation. So, I don't know. I mean, when was the last time you went and got gas? Think about this. 1992, gas prices were what? $2 a gallon? Maybe $1.30 if you're lucky. That's it. Now they're almost $6 a gallon. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention, I mean, not to mention all the rest of the stuff that's going on. I mean, think about it for a minute. So, it looks to me like there's not a lot of people online. I think I'm going to have to do this at an earlier time because there's nobody. I think I might have to do this at an earlier time. In the comments below, when you finally do see this, please tell me what time and what time zone a live stream would be better. Okay, guys? Because I'm on the West Coast. So I need to know what time zones you're in so I know when to live stream. So do I live stream during the week or on the weekend? At night or during the day? Because I'm on the West Coast. I'm on Mountain Standard Time. if you could please bleep bloop in the comments down below time zone, and if so, what time would be appropriate for you, and I will make sure I'm on at that time, and I will try to be on at that time and that day. I need a day and time and what time zone you're in. I mean, weekdays, weekends, I mean, during the day, at night, and what time zone you're in, so I know what time to match it here. Alright, guys. Other than that, nothing much else has been going on. As usual, my brain is absolutely fried. I mean, my financial situation's a complete disaster. I make crap. I come in with crap and I can't work. So this is really the only chance I have to make money and make a go at it. So if I'm going to do this, I need to do it right. So I need your help to get this done right. I need to know when and what you want to see me do. You tell me, comment down below right now what you want to see out of me. Everything you want to see out of me. Do you want to see World of Tanks? Do you want to see some old video games for the PC? I mean, do you want to see some Second Life stuff? Do you want to know more about my life? Do you want me to do research on stuff? I mean, just tell me. Just don't watch it. Tell me what you want to see and I will make it happen. Do you want to know more about that news I got? About me being a minister? I would like to know myself. I got a package in the mail in Selden, and my father went to the post office and gave them my forwarding address, and they sent it here. And then that's when I got this. Yeah, I'm dead serious. It's real. This is not a joke. It's not something that I might have gotten. This is the real deal. How, why, or what? I mean, where? Where and when does this happen? Because I have no idea. I mean, how? How did this sort of thing happen? I don't know. I just don't know. I would really like to know myself, but that's a hard situation indeed. So, there's a lot of questions that I would like to know, and there's a lot of questions I'd like to know. I don't know. Let's also think about I do know before I got sick, I was having money trouble and I was working a lot of jobs to pay the bills. I do know that. And some of you know where I worked. At least one of my 3-4 jobs I worked. I do know that I slept in my car because I never got home because I was too busy working. So I don't know. That's crazy to think I would do something like that, but I had absolutely no choice. Of course, you're noticing my little friend over there. There he is. He's walking around like he owns the place. He's roaming around like he owns the place. He roams around like he owns the place. Yep. He's funny. So, coming up soon, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably next going to work on, we covered the original Stronghold. I want to cover Stronghold Crusaders next. And I want to cover Stronghold Crusaders Extreme. Then Stronghold 3. Then Stronghold Legends. And then later on I want to work on Brick Shooter Egypt, which is a very old game from Windows XP. And then I want to work on Pharaoh and Cleopatra, which is another game. And it's down below. I don't have the link up here. Yeah, it's down below. It's called Pharaoh and Cleopatra. It's kind of like SimCity, but for ancient Egypt. You have to get a city together in ancient Egypt and then build the pyramids one at a time. And all within doing that in Egypt. So meanwhile, they have to have enough water to survive, enough food to survive. And how you do that in the desert is beyond me. So this is a pretty challenging game, but I'm up to the task. I haven't played that game in a long time. I am also going to cover some old games I have in here. I'm also might cover MechWarrior 4 Vengeance and the MechWarrior 4 expansion pack, Black Knight expansion pack also. I might cover those two games. SimCity 2000's a DOS game. I can't cover that. SimCity 2, maybe, if I could ever find the other disc. MechWarrior 3. That's an old game from Windows XP. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to run. We'll see. I'm also going to cover some of the old Super Nintendo games here and there. I have a way of getting them on the PC. So I want to cover some of the old Super Nintendo games. I also want to do a video game review on an old game called Titanic Adventure Through Time from Cyberflix Games. I think the game came out 1993, I think. I'm going to cover that if I can. I have that game. I'm going to see if I can try and get it on. I'm going to see if it works first. And there's some kiddie games here, which I don't think I'm going to cover. I have Star Wars Jedi Academy, which I might cover, maybe. I have Somewhere in the World is Carmen Sandiego games from 1991, and Carmen Sandiego's Great Chase Through Time from 1996. And Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego from 1991. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see. The Day You Were Born. Yawn. Okay. Moving on. Come on. Where's my good stuff? You used to have better stuff than this. I don't remember. Clip arts. Interesting. I wish I could get the SimCity game to work. I have MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. Maybe I can cover that. I can cover MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. That game is amazing. That game is a lot of fun, and it's amazing. I think you probably still get it on CD. If they remade it on, if they remade it on DVD, that'd be great. If they didn't, well, I don't know. So, all right. So we could also cover World of Warplanes, which I don't play that often. World of Warships, which don't play that often. We can cover more World of Tanks if you want to see more World of Tanks. Because I've been playing that for 10 years. I can basically show you everything about that game. I can show you all the premium tanks, which I have all of them. I can show you almost every tank in every tree and how they work. I could do tank reviews on each of the tanks, premium and regular. I can go into great detail about it too, because I know a lot about it. I have Steam. I don't use it that often. Why? I have no idea. Let's see. I also have Second Life, which a lot of you guys probably just don't give a shit about. So, let's see. I think that's it. Oh, and I also have DOSBox, which I'm not going to cover here because I still can't figure it out. DOSBox is meant for people who want to use DOS in Windows 11. Allow me to explain. Windows 98 was the very last operating system from Microsoft that used DOS to base the system off of. Windows 11, which I have now, is based off of Windows NT. Sound familiar? It should, because that's what the Windows after XP was based off of, and all the Windows after XP was based off of. Windows XP was the very last DOS-based operating system. The only DOS they have right now is called a command. Was it a command prompt? No, not a command prompt. Terminal. That's the only DOS prompt they have, and as you can see, it's not a command prompt. It's Windows PowerShell. It's not DOS. It's PowerShell. So the only thing you could do here is basically MCSE stuff, which I don't think anyway MCSE stuff works. My old MCSE stuff works here. We'll try it. Let's see. Now, meanwhile, this is DOS commands. I don't know if it's gonna work. Nope. ScanDisk. ScanDisk is the oldest and the most common DOS prompt command to use. And ScanDisk is not recognized. Windows PowerShell is not DOS. This is not a command prompt. I don't know what this is, but this is not a command prompt. Let's try the most common DOS command of all time. C semicolon dir. C semicolon. Wait, let's see. D C C semicolon. Is it backslash? Nope. Common commands don't work. Nope. Nope. Nothing. Zero. Nada. No DOS commands work in Windows PowerShell. I still cannot figure out what this is used for. I don't know what this is used for. But whatever it's used for, it's not DOS commands you can use it for. But yet they have this. Now let's see if this is real. This is the real deal. That works. Don't threat, that was my hearing aid. It always falls out. The hell with it. Now let's try this again. Let's try this. Nope, ScanDisk doesn't work. The directory says when you push directory, that works. And as you can see, there's the directory on the command prompt. But the ScanDisk function does not work. Some of the old DOS prompt functions in Windows 11 work, some of them don't. You could look at the directory, but that's basically about it. Other than ScanDisk, I don't know of any other settings, but see, if I could just get a normal C prompt, it'd be fine. C video users, that's not good. I need a normal C prompt. Because this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for C. Just the directory. Let me try and think. What if how would we do this? No, it's not gonna work. Nope. It's gotta be another one. I know ScanDisk. I don't know if ScanDisk even works nowadays, because 85.5% of the disks are not platter based. All of them are solid state drives. So ScanDisk doesn't work on solid state drives. And that's what I have. I have a solid state. So that's probably why it doesn't work. So that's gone. I'm trying to see what other DOS commands do they have. I know they didn't have antiviruses in DOS. Didn't have antiviruses until Windows. Until Microsoft Windows came out. I do have Doom for DOS, but should I try it? Do I dare even try it? Oh, what the fuck. I have half a brain, 3/4 of a brain cell left. Let's give it one try. Three-quarters of a brain cell left. Let's try this. If this don't work, I give up. It did not work. I just typed it in wrong. That's because I had 3/4 of a brain cell left. My brain damage is kicking in, and I don't think I can handle this. I think I might have to save this for yet another time, because this is way too much for my brain to handle. My brain damage is kicking in an overdrive right now. Doing DOS is not easy for me right now. I think I'm going to have to call this a day. I think I'm going to call this an unsuccessful day. So, alright, so we're going to call this a day, and we're going to say, okay guys, I tried. I gave it my best shot. I can't get my brain going long enough to do anything. I do know I do have stuff in the computer I can activate under DOS. But the problem is that DOS does not exist in here anymore. Windows 11 is under Windows NT, not DOS. So that was Windows PowerShell. That was a command prompt for Windows NT. Now the command prompt was under C video /studio, I think, which means that there is no C /, none, which means that's not DOS. That's just fake DOS. DOS does not exist. That's there just to appease all the people that want DOS, but it doesn't exist. So normal people like you and me have to rely on something called this program called DOSBox. in order to use anything involving DOS. Now, if you want to use programs that are under DOS, you have to get something called DOSBox, which is this. They give you a short introduction on how to use it. Enables you to play DOS-based games under this NT system. DOSBox brings a PC down to level. DOSBox uses the program to bring the PC down in the program to the level that that program can handle it. So it literally lowers the capabilities of the computer within DOSBox to allow it to play DOS games in DOSBox. That's the way DOSBox works. As you can see, because DOSBox is not a PC-based software, DOSBox is based off of... Shoot, where'd it go? There it is. DOSBox is based off of an operating system that doesn't exist anymore. DOS does not exist anymore. The PCs that run DOS do, but most of the parts are old and most of them don't work. There are a select few on YouTube that can and do show off the old school DOS and do use it often. But you will never see a brand new Windows 11 computer running DOS straight out. What I showed you was based off of Windows PowerShell. Windows PowerShell exists only for the MCSE and Microsoft Plus certified associates, and they have no idea how to use it. I do. I don't have access like they do. But they were Plus certified. They were Plus certified, which means they should know how to use that. I was an MCSE. I know how to use that, but I don't have the certification and I don't have the access to use it fully. So, plus I don't remember. So, whatever. Anyway. We're going to type intro, and I want them to show you illegal command. Really? Okay. Welcome to DOSBox. x86 emulator with sound and graphics. DOSBox creates a shell which looks like old plain DOS. Information about basic mounts. Information about CD-ROM support, special keys. More information about DOSBox, go to dosbox.com/wiki. The DOSBox will stop edit without warning if an error occurs, blah blah blah. Let's try this. Intro. Oh, okay. What happened? So keys. Pause DOSBox out the key mapper. Save a screenshot. Stop recording sound. Stop recording. Decrease frame skip. Capture release. Slow down. Emulation. David, emulate the turbo button too. The turbo button, I don't know if you remember the old PCs with the 46 chips in them. They had a power button and what is called a turbo button. The turbo button was supposed to turn a 486 PC into a 386 PC. The turbo button was supposed to slow the PC down so that the old DOS programs could keep up. The turbo button basically was doing what DOSBox is doing with Windows 11. If the particular DOS game you want to play was made for 386 PCs, then you have to enable the turbo button in DOSBox. DOSBox is a 486 PC. DOSBox is a program that emulates a 486 PC, a non-Pentium 486 PC made for MS-DOS. And if you want to push the turbo button to reduce it down to 386, you have to let's see. Screenshot mount. Okay, they even have wow, they even emulate MIDI. That's impressive. Wow. Oh, that's another thing. You ready? Back in DOS, back in the old 46 days, PCs had the 46 chip in it. It had a video card and it had a sound card with built-in MIDI graph with MIDI sound. Now MIDI is something that Microsoft developed to simulate like a keyboard, you know, what an electronic keyboard would sound like. Now, MIDIs were usually mounted on chipsets on the motherboard. If you looked on a 46 motherboard, one of the chips said Yamaha on it. That's the MIDI chip. They didn't have anything that mounted in the computer. The motherboard had a chipset on it that said Yamaha. That was soldered onto the motherboard. Now, your 46 PC had a Yamaha MIDI chip built into it. Pentium-based computers like the Pentium 1 and Pentium 2 did not have. The Pentium 1 motherboards had a MIDI chip built in. Pentium 2 and higher had a sound card with the MIDI chip on it. Now, as soon as they reached the I chips, like the I1, I2, I7, I9, sound cards were gone. They were deleted off the face of the earth. Sound cards do not exist. Your sound is based off of your video card. That's why when you buy a brand new computer, it's very crucial that you do not get onboard graphics. I beg you, when you buy a new computer, you have to make sure you get a very, very good graphics chip. Like a NVIDIA. An amazing NVIDIA. Make sure it has a water cooling system built in. Because that video card is doing sound and video both. New PCs do not have a sound card. Plain English. They have chipsets on the motherboard for bass sounds. Like basic, some MIDI. If you want to call it MIDI, it's not really MIDI. But the motherboard has bass sounds. That's it. It's up to the video card to emulate Sound Blaster sounds. I think the NVIDIA video cards from Windows 11 has what's called the NVIDIA video cards from Windows 11 have Sound Blaster 13 support. So if you have a brand new NVIDIA video card in your computer right now, the sound card in it is equal to Sound Blaster 13 for Windows XP. And that's the highest you're going to ever get. That's the highest you ever need, period. Sound is not that complicated. Video is. Graphics get more and more complicated every day. That's why video cards, you need a really good video card. A video card doing sound and video both. The video card right now is keeping track of this, the microphone and the picture both at the same time. So it's going overdrive. So that video card needs to stay cool. Make sure your video card has a water cooling system built in it. Make sure CPUs, if you have an i7, make sure you have a very good fan cooling system. If you have an i9 processor, now pay attention. If you have an i9, make sure you have a water cooling system built into it. Or, if you have one built in, make sure you have a backup. For example, let me show you. The PC I had built came with its own cooler. I didn't trust it. So if it ever gets close to overheating, I'm going to install this bad boy. If it ever gets close to overheating, I'm going to install this. This is a very good CPU cooler. It's water and air cooling both at the same time. So this will cool down an i9 processor in T-minus 3 seconds flat. i9 processors are notoriously red hot. Most CPU cases, if you have an Asus motherboard, it will have an option to keep track of the heat. It will have a heat management option where the case colors will determine the heat of the CPU. Also, if you also have an Asus computer, you will have an option of having these put on your computer. These can automatically get put on your computer. Let's see. Oh, no, you can't see because my big ass head's in the way. Hold on. Let me get my head out of the way. Christ in heaven. My big head's in the way. Hold on. Okay. If you have an Asus motherboard, you can have this installed in your computer. If you go on Asus's website and put on what the serial number of your motherboard is, and if it's a good enough motherboard, that it's a really good motherboard, you have the option of getting this little guy here. This little walk around dude here. You can get him with all these guys. He basically comes with the computer if you think about it. This little guy here. He basically comes with this. If you buy a computer from Asus, you'll get this and this. If the computer is good enough. So this keeps track of some things that are very important, like the memory, RAM, usage, how much internet you're using, your CPU usage. If your CPU usage is high, it's going to heat up the PC, it's going to heat up the CPU, and therefore you're going to need to cool it down. So you try your best not to overdo it. Right now I have DOSBox going. I have my streaming program going. And of course the little Asus dude running around the bottom of the screen there, down there. He's happy doing his own thing, He's doing whatever he has to do. So I have 3 things going at once, and it's only using 4% of my CPU. That's because I have a very fast i9 processor. And of course, it's only using 22% of my RAM because I have 1 terabyte of RAM and 1 terabyte hard drive. So, because I have so much RAM and so big a hard drive, the CPU doesn't have to work as hard anymore because the RAM is working harder. And the RAM I don't have to worry about because the RAM has coolers built into them. That's another thing. When you get bigger computers with faster RAM and better RAM, they're gonna make sure they have coolers. Make sure everything has coolers built into them. Everything. Do not hold back. Do not get cheap. You only get a chance to get one good PC. One. Make sure it has cooling on everything. We're talking CPU cooling. We're talking the RAM. Make sure the RAM has cooling fans built into them. They make RAM with cooling fans built into them. Dead serious. They make that. They make it. You want it. Get it. If your room notoriously gets hot like mine does, I mean, I'm in Arizona for Christ's sake. The temperature outside is 120 degrees. What do you think this room is going to be? So the computer's easily going to top 110. So that CPU is going to overheat in a matter of seconds. So I'm at night right now, and I'm doing my stream at night, so it's not as bad. But during the day, screw that. It's very, very bad during the day. So that's DOSBox. DOSBox is the only viable option if you want to use DOS on Windows 11. Because, like I showed you before, in Windows PowerShell, the command prompt exists. But when you try to use it, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't use any old prompting or anything like that. It doesn't work. Why? I don't know. It just doesn't work. Yeah, see? It has a command prompt. But the problem is that this is not going to work because of this. See this right here? That's why this is not going to work. Let's try something. Don't know if it's going to work, but let's try something. Nope. Can't go back. Can't get rid of it. C semicolon backslash. Nope. It goes right back to the other one. What this means is that what you want, if you have real DOS, it would go C semicolon backslash. That's it. That's real and true DOS. The command prompt is only available if you know of MCSE commands that still work in Windows 11 that you would like to use on this computer. You can use that. For example, ScanDisk was one of them. ScanDisk, you push ScanDisk C semicolon backslash ScanDisk.exe, and it's just a full scan, full error scan of the entire disk in DOS. Now, the reason why it doesn't work here is because this is C backslash users backslash video. If you were to type in C semicolon backslash ScanDisk.exe, without any of the other shit. ScanDisk.exe is not recognized as an internal command, operatable program, or batch file. Now that program in Windows XP, I had to go into the command prompt in Windows XP and type in c:\scandisk.exe, and it popped up all the files and folders. ScanDisk is scanning blah blah folder. ScanDisk is scanning blah blah folder. ScanDisk has completed its scan. The following folders are. The following folders have errors that need to be repaired. Would you like to repair them? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. And it types in what needs to be done. Would you like Windows to attempt it? I'll do it. So I used to go over there and just do it just to get it over with. Sometimes the PC didn't really do it right, so I used to do it myself. Back in the old days, I did everything myself just to make sure it got done right. That was before. This was way before the ScanDisk existed. Now you don't have to do that. Now all you do is go here, right click, now all you do is just do this. You don't need to go into any prompts and do ScanDisk. That's ScanDisk. You have it right there. I'm dead serious. This checks the entire hard drive for errors. And your defragment? No. See that right there? There's your defrag right there. All your programs that you need to keep this computer in good shape, you already have. See, there's your defragment. That's CD-ROM. This is the hard drive, and it's solid state. Solid state doesn't really need to be defragmented a lot. See, now this is the advantage of having a solid state drive. A solid state drive versus a standard drive. When you have what's called a solid state drive, the devices are stored on a couple of, it's a box. In that box is a bunch of small motherboards with chipsets in them. In those chipsets are RAM, built-in RAM. What it does is that it stored the RAM. Well, it's kind of like RAM. It's like a flash drive. It's like putting chipsets with a flash drive. Solid state drive is like putting a chipset with flash drives. One big, huge terabyte flash drive with its own chipset built into it. So the chipset runs and keeps track of everything in that drive. So solid state drives are meant to take care of themselves. So most of this optimizing drive optimization, you don't need to do it because it's always going to say okay. It's never going to need to be analyzed or scanned ever because it does it all by itself. A standard hard drive with the platters has to be done every 3 to 4 months. has been scanned, and a full defragment and optimization has to be done every 3 to 4 months on the dot. Has to. No offense, buts about it. Absolutely has to. Now, while you're in here, you may as well just browse and see what you got here. Now, this is Windows 11, mind you. There's a lot of stuff in here that you don't really know much about. Probably best you stay away from. Now, this tells you how much of the drive is used, how much of the drive is free, and what your size is and what you used. Now, if your drive is almost full and you can't delete anything, compress the drive and you'll get more space. But if you ever compress a hard drive, you risk corrupting the data that's on that drive, because compressing the data makes it harder to access, and it wears out the drive quicker. Because you have solid state, I don't know how compressing would really react to its compression. So I will really have to look into that and get back to you guys on that, because that's one thing I'm not even sure about. I do know with the old platter drives, if you compress, you can compress it to save space, but it wears the platters out quicker. Your hard drive is going to get worn out a lot quicker if you compress a standard hard drive. I don't know about these solid state drives. Also, you will notice the file types for Windows NT based systems. For DOS based systems like Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows XP, FAT and FAT32 was the standard file type that you would set your hard drive to. The standard for Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 10, and Windows 11 is NTFS. That is just standard, hands down. NTFS is also going to take up more space, but it takes up more space for a very good reason, because you want to do it NTFS because NTFS is a lot more, how do I put this? Let's say you're installing a program on your hard drive, right? And you're playing a game, right? Let's say you're playing SimCity, right? You're playing SimCity and all of a sudden the game flat out freezes. And there's error messages all over the damn place. And you say, you know what? Screw this. The computer freezes. Instead of pushing Control-Alt-Delete, you shut the computer down. What happens then, when the power goes out and the program is running like the one I have on right now, all that goes in what's called a dump folder. Now that dump folder affects that program. Next time you run that program is going to run slower, because parts of that program is in that dump folder, and you now don't know how to fix that. That's where somebody like me would come in. If there's a problem with your program, I would go in and figure it out and find out that, okay, we need to reinstall this program because this program's all messed up. So that's what I would do. I would clean out the dump files and all that, and clean out all the garbage and the crap, and get rid of the shit. And that's where the cleanup, the Windows cleanup came. That's where the clean. Remember that the program that had like a dustpan and a broom in Windows XP. They used to have a program that had a dustpan and a broom. Well, I don't think Windows 11 has that. See? I don't think Windows 11 even has that. But I will tell you, it does exist. If you buy a certain program for Windows 11, it's called AVG. They have programs that you could purchase that does the same exact tools that you were able to do in Windows XP. Now, watch this. Remember what I told you that there's dump files? That programs that don't shut down right get tossed in a dump folder. Broken registry items, that's the dump folder. In Windows 11, it's called registry items that are broken. Broken registry items are copies of a program that got shut down too soon. You could safely delete that if you know how to. But they don't give you the tools to do that. So you have to have the tools in order to do that. This program will delete broken shortcuts. It'll also delete temporary file logs and other junk created by the operating system and the programs if they don't shut down right. And your web browser, the cache that your web browser leaves behind. If anybody tries to hack your program, if your browser cache is empty, they're not going to get anything. Make sure you clean your browser cache in your web browser at least once a month in order to keep your computer in good shape and keep hackers away from your freaking computer. Now, for me, all I have to do is just do this and it does it all for me. Done. 102 issues were fixed in my computer, and 1.6 gigabytes were cleaned. Not megabytes, not terabytes. Gigabytes were cleaned. I'm dead serious. 1.6 gigabytes were cleaned just by organizing the drive and cleaning up all the stuff you don't need, that the computer doesn't use. Now, the speed up program allows you to do all the stuff that really you don't need. You could remove junk, which we just did. Background unnecessary programs. I don't need to do that because I just did that a short while ago. If you ever have any issues, this program will let you know. If you have any issues, you rescan it. No problems. Okay. All right. Browser data. All right. Tracking cookies. Right there, tracking cookies. protect your privacy by deleting cookies at websites used to track your behavior and identity. Yeah, they can do that. All they do is hack your computer, and all they do is get a hold of all those cookies, and they got you right there. All they need to do to get your personal information is to get these cookies right there. That's all they need to do. All you have to do is have a program that does this. Guess what? All those tracking cookies are gone. All of them are gone. Your computer is free and clear. The most important part about a computer, of course, after the problem we had in Windows XP with what's the name of that program? Microsoft Flight Simulator. The first one that ever came out. I was in MCSE when Microsoft Flight Simulator first came out. After that first came out, Microsoft Flight Sim Labs used a computer virus as copy protection for the software. In Windows XP, mind you, virus scanners didn't exist back then. So it was my job to contact some program software companies to have them make us scanners that detect all the viruses off people's computers. We just have to go to people's computers, go to each and every person's house, and scan their computers. Instead of now, keep in mind, Windows Update was still new. All they can do is have small patches. They weren't able to add whole programs. So it was up to people like me to go to people's houses and scan their computers and work on getting their computers up to snuff. It was very hard back in the old days dealing with that. Now it's easy because now all people have to do is just turn that on, click this, it does it automatically. Back in the old days, this didn't exist. That didn't exist back in the old days. Dead serious. Back in Windows XP, there was no such thing as a malware virus scanner. There was no such thing. And Microsoft Flight Simulator, the very first one, was loaded with malware. I mean, we're talking majorly loaded with malware. That was the first time ever that computer viruses were used. Period. Computer viruses were introduced as computer viruses first originated in the Windows XP days because it was used as a form of copyright protection. Yeah, I'm dead serious. They use it as copyright protection software. Now, on what planet do you use a computer virus as copy protection software? Windows flipped the shit when they found out, and they gave me programs and told me get out there and get rid of that software. So anybody who had Flight Simulator, anyone that Microsoft sent out emails to everyone that bought the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they sent us, the MCSEs, out to their houses to uninstall the program and check for viruses spreading on the computer. At the time, nobody even knew what a computer virus was, mind you. And they bought a program that said Microsoft, put it on the computer thinking, this is a good program because Microsoft's name is on it. This is great. I'm going to buy this program and try it. Who would have guessed that that program would be the most dangerous program in the entire free world? Flight Sim Labs was totally embarrassed. They were beyond embarrassed. They couldn't even fix it. A patch wouldn't even work. Granted, they did patch the game to prevent the viruses from spreading out of the game. But that's not going to help. The viruses are already spreading in your computer. So it was up to us to nail the viruses that were in their computer and spreading like wildfire. Because there was no antivirus software back in the old days. The viruses just spread from place to place to place randomly, and there was no way to stop it. So, alright guys, I'm going to stop this stream. I'll get into more detail when I have more of a brain. Right now, I have very little brain cells right now, and I'm not really doing that well. When I'm better, I will be back on to explain more about this. Alright guys. So please don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment. Please tell please tell your friends about this also as well. Like, subscribe, and comment, please. I'd really appreciate it. I really could use as much help as I can. Alright guys, I'll do my best to give you content that's as best as I can. Okay guys? Considering my ability lately, it's hard. But I will do the very best I can. Alright guys? I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.